Hey, what's up, guys? So the moms had their sequel last week with Bad Moms 2. This week we have the father's turn with Daddy's Home 2, starring Will Ferrell, Mark Wahlberg, John Lithgow, and Mel Gibson. So let's get into this. Written and directed by Sean Anders, this one continues the story of co-dads Dusty Mayron and Brad Whitaker, who seem to be getting along just fine since their battles in the first film, and all really seems on the up and up. Of course, until their fathers come to visit for Christmas, something that's going to open up some old wounds, expose some harbored feelings, and of course lead to some comical hijinks. No, I didn't find the first Daddy's Home all that bad. I don't think it really needed a sequel. It was definitely formulaic, but there were some solid laughs between the generic and at times forced moments. It wasn't an amazing film, but it does have its moments, and despite that, I didn't have the highest expectations for this movie. The trailer looked mildly funny, but it also looked like a retread of the last film. And that's pretty much what it was. This was basically a remake of the first film with the simple addition of the father characters played by Lithgow and Gibson. They did have a couple moments that land a few chuckles and a couple grins, but nothing that could be considered anything more than mildly amusing at best. Really, because the material just felt stale right out of the gate. It uses a lot of recycled humor early on to kind of set the stage for what is going to be more of the same, just recycled sight gags and scenarios that filled the first storyline. Ferrell getting electrocuted, he gets slammed around, a lot of the same tropes that the first film had. Ferrell and Wahlberg deal with a lot of the same dynamics that they did in the first film. There was just not a lot of ambition shown in trying to kind of expand the material as much as there was an intent on simply wanting to redo it with the father dynamics added and all that comes along with that. A perfect fatherly relationship that inevitably has its flaws, a flawed fatherly relationship that mends itself, all the usual tropes of the genre that we've really just have seen before. And having seen it done before, it definitely isn't a deal breaker, but when it's added with just extremely familiar dialogue and characters that haven't changed much at all, and a lot of just the same scenarios, you're just left with a predictable comedy with a heavy-handed punchline and loads of forced humor. I did laugh a few times, but not enough for as much as this film was clearly trying to be funny. It gets overly cute and unnecessarily cheesy at times with a few corny moments that just give you that embarrassed feeling like when a sex scene came on during a movie when your parents just so happen to be watching with you. And it was a little all over the place tone-wise. It keeps its foot on the gas in the comedic department, then at times it would try to interject more serious, more emotionally angled segments into the film that just felt very uneven. There is a scene at a comedy show that felt very out of place and honestly extremely awkward. It just tries to get overly mushy in the third act that just didn't fit the flow of the story that led up to it. The performances were all serviceable. Wahlberg and Ferrell are virtually the exact same as they were in the first film. Lithgow and Gibson, like I said, they had their moments. They give this film a mildly unique twist, but I don't think they were utilized to make the film better. I do think they were extremely well casted, though, when pairing with Ferrell and Wahlberg. I just don't think it translated that well on screen. And unfortunately, overall, I'm going to have to give Daddy's Home 2 45% on the entertainment meter. It did a lot of the same things it did in the first film, just not as inspired as it felt the first time around. There are some laughs here and there, but it isn't anything to race out to the theater and watch. And those are my thoughts on Daddy's Home 2, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to give it a thumbs up. Did you like the first film? Are you even interested in this sequel? Let me know down in the comments below. As always, don't forget to subscribe so you can catch all the new reviews. Thank you so much for watching. As always, guys, I'm Anthony. This is the Silver Screen Analysis, and I'll see you at the movies.